So now we have a zombie outbreak in Rio de Janeiro. And I'm kind of ticked that zombies got there before me. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach to Nerd. And in this episode, we are reviewing the Netflix semi-original series, Reality Z. And I say semi because this is based off of the UK equivalent, which is Dead Set, that aired in 2008, which I think, I'm not sure, is still on Netflix. I could have looked that up for you guys, but I'm tired. But I did see this. I actually saw this on BBC America. So, yes. If you watch this series, it will cause you to have mixed reviews like with me, only because there are some things that you don't understand and you're not able to suspend your disbelief. And then there are some things that are kind of like, okay, cool. And like, this is really cool and this works. So like, I'm going to get into that. But first I need to tell you that this is going to contain spoilers because I don't know how to talk about this without doing that. So here we go. So as I've said, this is basically the first half of Reality Z is basically the entirety of Dead Set from 2008. So it's like they remade Dead Set and then they added an entirely different story right after it. So it's almost like two different shows merged into one. There are some tweaks here and there, so it's not 100% verbatim like the original Dead Set, but it's pretty darn close. As a matter of fact, if you watch Dead Set, you'll see that the main protagonist, Kelly, who was the PA of that version, looks almost identical, especially in terms of the hairstyle, color, eye color, the clothes, as Reality Z's protagonist in the same role, and her name is Nina. So that was a little weird. The only difference between these two characters is Kelly was having an affair on her boyfriend with a crew member. But in Reality Z, Nina's in a polyamorous affair with two film crew members. Until I have to take this moment to say, if you're looking for character development or backstory of any type in Reality Z, there's zero. You do not know who these people are, why they're there, what's going on in their lives, nothing. There's no actual connection that way. We learn a little bit about a few of the characters, but still what we do know is nothing. The premise of this show is simple. If you watch Big Brother, they have a version of Big Brother in this series called Olympus or Gods of Olympus or something of that nature. And they're basically all in a studio inside of a house, studio house, voting people off. And you have the crew and the, I guess we're going to call him the voice of Zeus because that's what he calls himself. But he's like the station manager slash the only person to keep his host Davina in line because she is a straight up diva. She's a diva. And his name is Brand, which is funny. But yeah, the premise is the zombie apocalypse happens while they're filming the show. And so the cast for a long time of the series, they don't even realize what's going on because they have no contact with the outside world. But the crew and of course everybody, and the outside world are all being infected and becoming zombies. So yeah, that part is verbatim, just that's Dead Set. It really is. A lot of the stuff that happens pretty much is exactly like Dead Set. They do have some character twist a little bit, like Madonna, for instance. Madonna is a trans character, a trans female character, played by a trans female actress, so really good representation there. But there was not a trans character in Dead Set. So that is definitely an addition, kind of like, I guess, making it a little bit more progressive. But her fate is still the same. So, I didn't get too excited. Much as I was rooting for Madonna, I knew that she wasn't going to last long. Okay. So let's go down. I'm going to break down what I liked about the series, and then I'm going to talk about what I did not like about the series, because, it's only fair to have like a kind of 50-50 review. So what I did like, I love, number one, that it was filmed in Rio de Janeiro, because quite frankly, Rio de Janeiro is beautiful. It's probably one of the places I would like to see before I die. So we got a lot of good B-roll. We got to see parts of the island, and we got to see like aerial shots, probably with drones of the city. Very, very pretty. A lot of the camera angles I really, really liked. Like if some zombie was coming at you, they did long focus. I mean, they did very I do like the camera work for the most part, except for when they were trying to do jump scares, because quite frankly, they didn't work for me. I mean, you could see them like a mile coming, like a mile away. I knew when the zombie was about to pop up. There was no suspense there, but, and now I'm talking about positives. I just have to throw that in there before I forgot. I loved the makeup. I loved their choice of using a grimmier set. So everything is dark with grays, and the only pop of color really comes from the inside of the Olympus house. I also like the music choices. I thought that was done really well. And for the most part, the makeup, like in terms of the gore, the special effects and things like that, just like every other zombie movie I've seen that had a budget, pretty on point. So I have no complaints there. I also loved the pairing of Nina, and TK, and then Leo and Teresa later on. And I like that they didn't just redo Dead Set, that they actually decided to add on, a whole other story, like what happens after Dead Set. Because where Dead Set ended is basically everybody was a zombie. Kelly was a zombie. Everyone was walking around as a zombie. Like, that's not what happened in, well, kind of it is with the original, but at least we had a second run at what potentially could have happened if Dead Set had continued in 2008. So I do like that. So now I'm going to talk about the stuff that I was very annoyed with. Number one. Now, and this could be said for every horror movie, zombie movie specifically. People do really stupid things that do not make sense at like any time for me. So for instance, in the second half of the series, we are introduced to Leo and his mother, Anna, I'm going to call her Anna. She built the station that Olympus, Gods of Olympus, is filmed at and shot, whatever. We never are told what happened. We do know that she was either fired, let go, whatever. She no longer is allowed to work at the studio or have anything to do with the station. And so she takes a lot of pills. She has a lot of issues because of it. Now, my question in this is, was she let go because she had a pill addiction and because she drank too much? Or was she just like BS'd out of her role by Bran, the station manager, who basically is an ass? I mean, we don't know. But what we do know is that during the zombie apocalypse, she chose to go take some more pills at first and go take a nap, even though her son's girlfriend, who had been zombified, was locked in another room in their apartment. So that's where it started for me. I'm like, why would you? Just a zombie. It's like, when you see those zombie movies and they're supposed to be so chaotic, Juan is just like, zombie, meh, And then it just kind of goes progressively downhill and away from me from that point. Like, another example. So they have a character named Teresa. Again, we know nothing about this woman. The only thing we know is that she is basically being detained and basically held prisoner in a squad car by two police officers who have incriminating information on, I'm assuming it's the congressman or one of the cops that she's with. We don't know because unless I missed it, which I could have, it's never revealed exactly what the heck she filmed. You know what I mean? So it's like, I guess it wasn't important, but it was important enough to keep her and use her as zombie bait in the car. But so Teresa never shares this information with anyone. And the problem that I have with that is this congressman, Alberto Levy, he is a politician. He is an asshole. He will backstab you in a minute. I do not understand why the characters continuously follow this person, especially Teresa, who knows that he's no good. Like, she knows that he's capable of doing horrible shit, or she wouldn't have been detained in this car. You know what I mean? So it's like, when we first see his character, right after the zombie outbreak, he has a box, or like a suitcase full of money. He bribes two cops to basically let them ride with them. And that's where we also see Teresa's in the back of the car. So they're driving around and, eventually Leo gets his mother to leave the apartment. They really have no choice. And they decide to head towards the TV station. Well, their car, when they're coming up, it gets basically stopped by the congressman, the two cops. and they siphon their gas out of their car, and they're going to leave them to die, basically as zombie bait, in the middle of the woods or the forest. And remember, this is the congressman here, and he's completely on board with this. And it's not until Anna says she has somewhere safe they can go, alluding towards the TV station, and that she, knows how to get there, that they take them with them. That is the first indicator. This man, and Leo even brings it up throughout the entire series, this man is not trustworthy whatsoever. And none of his actions throughout any part of this series are trustworthy. He, throughout the rest or remainder of the series, sits back in the control station that he, the control room in the station that he basically took control of, while everybody else goes and clears the zombies out of the rest of the building to make it safer for them and habitable. He does nothing. He just sits there and lets them do all the work. He has an assistant named Christina who basically got on my nerves most of the series. She does have a redemption at the end, but it's like for most of the time, she was kind of like his little side voice. She's questioning everything. But if you really look at it from a perspective of these characters have no backstory, she really is the one alluding to everything that the congressman is doing because he's making decisions. And she even says a few times, to him, something's wrong with you or you're an asshole, But this guy is not trustworthy. And this guy is one of the reasons why they don't survive in this series. The actions that he takes at the end of the series ensures the death of almost everybody there. I'm not sure what happened to Leo. But yeah, everybody else pretty much gone. Which I thought was interesting. But I didn't understand why they kept letting this guy make decisions when he was obviously no good. And it's like they could have, safety in numbers, yes, but they could have absolutely overpowered him. And I mean, I'm not saying take him to the roof and dump him into the zombie pool. I'm just saying lock him up, do something, because this guy was trash. So it always fathoms my brain, because you could literally see it a mile away that he was going to be the downfall of everyone in that group. I mean, from the moment he showed up, you knew that he was the linchpin that blew everything up. So yeah, there was that. And I kind of feel like other choices that were made just production-wise didn't make any sense to me. So let's talk about the zombies. Two things happen that I'm just very confused about. Like Leo's mother, Anna, she goes into the bathroom and Nina's there. But she's a zombie at this point. And she's kind of looking at her and she's not attacking. So Anna gets it in her head, oh, this zombie's different. So she goes to touch her hand. Well, of course she gets bitten. Why? Two questions. Why, number one, why would a character look at any zombie at all and have this like moment of sympathy and think, oh, well, maybe this is a different type of zombie that eats just lettuce and salad. It's just stupid. Why do that? Why make, to me, it was just stupid. There was a better way to have her be bitten. And then number two, why introduce a zombie that seems to be different from the others, only mention it once and then never go back to it ever again? Like, she's the only one out of all the zombies that was different. It's like, okay, is that significant? Does that mean that, hey, there's actually a slither of hope that there's a cure for this? We don't even know what caused this. Like, it's never even announced what caused this disease. We never saw what caused it. It just happens. So that bothered me. And then the second thing, the zombies in this are extremely strong. They're strong. I mean, they're ripping off heads, ripping out hearts. Like, they just reach in, take your spleen out. So you mean to tell me that 40 and 50 zombies can't break down a flimsy door and a gate? That makes no sense to me whatsoever. I was literally watching these zombies pushing on the windows, and they're like, oh, the windows aren't going to hold. I'm like, I'm surprised they held as long as they did. I mean, they're like 20 minutes, just banging, and they're all piling onto it. And you know how physics works. And like that should not have been an issue for these zombies. Like, I really could foresee one zombie just pushing this window in and these doors in. But no. So there's a lot of times when I was kind of like, okay, guys, what are you doing? And then the third thing that kind of bothered me is after they cleared the building, which, so I know they were able to close some of the stage doors, like sound stage doors and, some of the studio rooms. But you cannot tell me there were not ways for the zombies to get into that building. And they're just like walking around, spread out, doing their own little thing. Somebody's over smoking, someone over here is snorting crack, which the cop in this, he was snorting a lot of cocaine throughout. Like every scene he was in, he snorted cocaine at least 2 or 3 times. I don't know how he survived as long as it. His heart should have exploded, with the adrenaline and the amount of coke he was snorting. And it did not start when he got at the station. He was doing it from the moment you saw him in the car, en route driving. At first he seems like an a-hole character, but he actually turned out to be one of the ones I was rooting for as well, because he was helping our main protagonist a lot. His downfall, unfortunately, was due to the congressman as well, because the congressman was the ultimate. The congressman was worse than the zombies for this group, unfortunately. But yeah, so that stuff bothered me. Like a lot of it, it's like there's so much disbelief that it's ridiculous. And there's a scene where you see that these two police officers, I guess they were patrolling, and they came up to like a grocery store that at the time Nina and TK and I think his other guy's name was Lucas were in. And the zombie, like they pulled guns on them or like, are you looting the store? And I'm like, why would the police be all up your butt about looting a damn store in a zombie apocalypse? You know what I mean? Where are you going to take the prisoners? I'm like, there's no jail. There's no judicial system. Why are you trying to have law and order in a small village at a grocery store that looks like a mom and pop shop? That makes zero sense to me. And also, it was pretty hard for me to suspend my disbelief when the zombie was approaching these two cops. And basically, they weren't shooting at them. One cop did shoot. The other guy was like, ah. I'm like, why were you there? I'm like, I don't understand. How are you a cop? You can't shoot a zombie? I'm like, he literally allowed himself to be eaten. And that was very strange to me. So, yeah, there's a lot of moments like that. You're just watching this series and you're just like, this is just dumb. So... yeah, I will say it was not a bad series. It's just that I've seen this before. And the second half of the series, honestly, the second half of the series was a little bit more interesting than the first, only because of the politician, of the congressman, because of all the crap he was doing and all the stuff I knew it was going to happen because of him. We got introduced to new characters in the second half. We had an entrepreneur who lied about a guy that was with her, pretended that they were married and said that he was a doctor, so the rest of the group would let them in. We had them come up with like a crazy strategy to get, to have people be let into the TV station by stripping them. And at one point, they even put some people in the room, let them in, and then told them one of them had to leave and they had to vote somebody off, brother style or like Olympus style. Just stuff like that. It made it interesting. But it was really hard for me to just get away from all of the stupidity of some of the characters. And again, I understand that horror movies are like that. You have to have people act unintelligent to move the plot forward. But when you have no character backstory and no character development, and your entire series is basically centered in a world that's dead around them, you have to have something to keep it interesting. And having just people walking around doing stupid, asinine stuff is not enough for me, honestly. If this gets a season 2, I'll probably watch it because I do like the genre for zombie movies. I mean, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I love Train to Busan. That's probably one of my favorite zombie movies now. 28 Days Later up there was one of my favorites. I'm a Romero fan, so I understand that this is just what you get in these types of movies. But even still, I kind of feel like they missed the mark a little bit in terms of how good this could have been. Had they had a little bit more thought. And if you're going to tell me that, well, there weren't enough episodes for this many characters, I will direct you to another Netflix series called Into the Night, where it is, I think, 9-10 episodes as well. And they're not long episodes, and they have every character with backstory. And I'm talking every one of them. And they were on a plane. So, I mean, it can be done. It can be done really well. You just have to do it. And so, yeah, that's probably my biggest takeaway. There's no character development or backstory. So you don't really feel connected to these people. And it feels like their lives began either right at the outskirts or inside the TV station. And that, for me, was a turnoff. But that's just my opinion, guys. I want to know what you guys think, so please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.